Hello guys, Zane here. Today I'm going to be talking about the problems with right-wing conservatives and political ideologies. So I've been watching a lot of reacting channels to Caitlin Bennett, which is a far right-wing conservative, homophobic, xenophobic. She even claimed racism in this country didn't exist because she sees people of color in the streets. Doesn't make sense. She's just a horrible person in general. But I've noticed that there is this thing with Republicans and how they think of Democrats. And I wanted to address that because me being a democratic socialist, I'm not a democratic socialist because of the politicians. I'm a democratic socialist because of the definition of the ideology and all the good that it brings to a country that inherits it. Like a lot of the European countries that have social security nets, which is a social program, which is socialism. Social security is a socialistic program. Free school lunch is a socialistic program. All of these things that we use to benefit society is a socialist program. And so I feel like right-wing conservatives think Democrats like or become Democrats because we like the politicians. Actually, majority of Democrats hate Joe Biden. We're only choosing Joe Biden because it's better than Trump. The only reason we majority of Democrats aren't Democrats because of politicians. They're Democrats because of how Democrats are. We are more likely to help minorities, to help the poor. We are more likely to help people that need help, to create systems that benefit all people instead of just the 1%. And we don't attack gays. We don't attack colored people. I'm pretty sure you can find one extreme Democrat that does, but majority of Democrats don't do that. And when you have a party that is so strongly believed in anti-LGBTQ and is very racist and promotes racist systems or promotes systems that benefit them and not the minorities in the country, you really have a problem, especially with a country that is mainly minorities. I want to point out the last 7 elections, Democrats have won the popular vote. The past 7 elections. This country is so democratic. Not one Republican in the past 7 elections has won the popular vote. And out of 3 of those elections were Republicans. Still lost. So they need to understand that we're not in it for the politicians. I don't choose party based on the politicians. I choose parties based on their morals. Remember, the people make up a party, not one specific president, not one specific Senate leader. The people make up the party. That's why Democrats, before the Civil War went on and we were basically Republicans, we kind of changed it. Most of our beliefs are what majority of the country want. Gun control, at least 70% of the American population wants it. Pro-choice, majority of America is that. Pro-minority, majority of the country is that. Pro-socialist agenda, majority of the new generation that is going to be coming up and starting to vote like socialism. So the Democrat Party is trying to turn themselves into something majority of the people like. So basically, in other words, is they're trying to be what the people want them to be, which is what the government is supposed to do. They're supposed to represent the people. President Trump does not represent the people. Republicans do not represent the people, especially because the people they are oppressing is the majority in the country. Native Americans, poor. 60% of the United States of American population is poor or working paycheck to paycheck. Capitalism is not helping. Capitalism is very oppressing. So don't be shocked when there's a socialist movement because the system we have is not working. It never did work. Capitalism is great when the country's beginning and starting, but this country is industrialized now and we need something new. And Yes, this one Republican conservative YouTuber did say that he believes in capitalism, but he also believes it should evolve. The problem is Republicans aren't helping it evolve. If Republicans constantly made it evolve to benefit the people, we'd be pro-capitalism. But the fact is that they're not, and that's the problem. So I just want to point out, majority of people don't choose party based on leaders, but morals. And yes, I guess you could say statistically, Republicans and independents went Democrat because of Trump. And yes, political people do affect the party's image, but the Democratic Party is way more what the people want than the Republican Party. The Republican Party is really cutthroat. I mean, you want to talk about what the Bible says. I don't remember the Bible mentioning white people. So, gays go against your religion. Well, apparently so does your skin color, because not in there. It's just a funny joke. But I just think it's crazy that white-wing conservatives don't have the mental capacity to understand where we're coming from. It's like the Democratic Party. You do technically get to choose the political party you're in, but like, if you're a person of color and you see what the Republicans are doing, especially after, oh my God. So I need to research the guy and everything, because I totally forgot. I spaced it out. I found this out like a year ago, so I'm probably not going to talk about it because I don't want to like mess up saying something, because I'm trying to be as educational as possible, and I'm trying to really express a more educated response. But a lot of the red states, the Republicanated states, actually are only Republican states because this one guy drew maps that did racial gerrymandering and political gerrymandering, which, if you don't know what that means, it's basically where they draw lines to benefit one specific party. The man died, I believe, in 2018, and his daughter exposed the maps that he created for Republicans in office, which is why Donald Trump was able to win the 2016 elections, because of those horrible gerrymandered maps that are still in place. So it's kind of the system is very oppressive. It is very cutthroat. I mean, think about it. Kentucky went from 3,500 voting places to only 200. And majority of them that were striped away were taken away from communities of color and all of that, which are mainly Democratic voters. A lot of Republican states are also cutting a lot of voters. Normally, a state will cut voters because if someone dies, then they can't really vote. Or if someone leaves the state and becomes a resident in someone else's state, they can't vote in that state, so they'll cut them off. They can't vote. But it dramatically increased. Some states have cut over 23% of their people. So if you're losing 23% of your population to death or to moving, there's a problem. Yes, coronavirus is a thing, and yes, but I still think 22%, especially because this is more than one state. I think it's kind of ridiculous, and yes, voter suppression is very real. The only time I have heard of Democrats ever trying to gerrymander was in New Jersey in 2018. And I didn't really understand how they were trying to gerrymander, because it was a Vox article, and they were talking about how what Democrats wanted to do in New Jersey was they wanted to make it seem like even if Republicans didn't win a certain area, or let's just say county, they wanted to make it to where even if they didn't win, if it had if it had like a lot of Republican votes, it would turn it into a Republican county. And so I'm kind of like, okay, that's kind of like catfishing. That's kind of like lying. So I guess it's not really voter suppression. You're not really drawing lines to benefit a party. You're just lying to Republicans thinking they have a shot. I mean, that's still horrible, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure I just misunderstood the article, and if I read it again, I'm pretty sure I'd click. But I just wanted to address that majority of Democrats and Democratic Socialists are not that because Joe Biden. Like, I'm pretty sure once Trump's out of office and Joe Biden's president, all those Republicans that left because Trump was horrible and voted Joe Biden will go back to their party because they're Democrat on paper, but their morals are still Republican. Your morals don't change because you voted for the opposite party. Yes, you can change your morals and all of a sudden become a Republican all the way to a Democrat. Yes, some people have done that. Some people have actually researched the two parties, have actually gone in depth to see what's actually happening in the two parties and thought, well, the Democrat Party is way better because even though it has flaws, at least majority of the party is focused on communities that really need focusing on, like Native Americans, like the environment. Yes, a lot of hypocrisy in both parties. But like I said, I'm a Democrat because I looked at both parties. The Democrat Party spoke to me more, especially because the Republican Party attacks a lot of what I am specifically. Like, it attacked Mexicans, technically legal immigrants, but they're still Mexicans, whether they're legal or not. And LGBTQ, I am bi. He attacked, what else? Well, he's attacking women's rights. I'm not a woman, but I agree with women's rights. He's attacked the environment, which I love the environment. My room is literally hippie room. Like, I literally have sunflowers growing in my fish tank. Um, aquatic planning is very awesome. It kind of is sad because it means the water's so bad it can sustain life because the plants have to get the same nutrients that they would from the soil. So the fact that my water has the nutrients needed, very bad, but it's also good because I actually have like a fish in there, and so they clean out the water kind of, so does the algae and all that. So it's actually very beneficial. And I love it. And I think it's actually dying, so oops. So yeah, I just wanted to discuss that and get that off so now Republicans can stop attacking the left wings based off people. Joe Biden does not represent the majority of Democrats. We do not like him. We do not accept him. We will tolerate him until we have someone better. Because as Democrats, we understand the message of the party is way better than the people running for it. We only vote Biden because Trump is horrible. Like, if you had to choose one or the other, majority would choose Joe Biden because it's a safer bet than Trump. We've withstand Trump. Part of the reason why Hillary lost was because nobody really knew how bad Trump was, because you had to wait until he won the presidency to see how he would handle being president. And now that we have 4 years of experience with what Trump has been doing, we're like, no, we can't have this. So majority of the people that like Trump are now going to Joe Biden because they've seen what Trump can do. And they don't like it. They don't like the fact that a lot of our rights are on the line because of him. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you want, comment to see if any debates you'd like to have, any opinions you'd like me to share, like my pro-choice opinions and all that. I will gladly talk about how I feel about gun control, how I feel about the Constitution, how I feel about Trump, how I feel about Biden, how I feel about anything that belongs to my party, maybe a Republican Party. And if I don't understand something that you guys written, it would make me do research, and then I can form an opinion on it as well. So we'd be educating and expressing. Bye.